And welcome everyone to another fascinating week of Live After SmackDown Live. I am Tonya Rodgers here once again with Andrew M. Swift. And we're going to talk about the No Mercy Go Home show. Guess we can, before we get into the show at large, let's talk about Talking Smack. And the Dolph Ziggler kind of had, I don't know, he shot like SmackDown. That's our inside joke, is that SmackDown is like one big shoot. Everybody's shooting on each other every week. They're using people's real names and all that, but it's kind of fun, a little tongue in cheek. It still plays in with the storyline, but Dolph, like he's talking like a man who's not about to be working there anymore. He said the two things that just reached out and grabbed me were when he said he wasn't handpicked to take a photo, which like clearly that's a shot at Triple H. Clearly, because we all like anytime one of Triple H's favorites wins a championship, the very first thing you see all over the internet is Triple H taking a picture with them. I'm surprised he hasn't taken one with Sasha, but it wasn't her first time, so you know.
Yeah, he already got the first one, so you know, whatever.
And then the next one was, I wasn't a football player who tore my ACL and ended up here. And I'm like, okay, so you just shoot on like half the locker room, and a lot of people who, like, I say this all the time, my favorite wrestler, Randy Savage, grew up wanting to be a baseball star. It does not matter. Like, I don't know what this notion, this idea that you have had to have wanted to be a wrestler since you were a fetus to actually love wrestling. I just don't get that notion. Like, some people get into it and they fall in love with it. That's the thing that happens. We've seen it over and over again. So that was a bit uncomfortable. But
yeah, I didn't. When a guy is like openly talking about his character, like my character loses all the time, it's like you said, the joke is that SmackDown is one big shoot, that the whole thing is actually like authentic. But that was just like, he was actually being truthful. And it was just like, this is like, kayfabe shooting is so fun, but like actually starting to refer to like, and D-Bry was like, I like your performances and stuff, like, and it was like referring to Nick Nemeth, not Dolph Ziggler. Is Nick Nemeth, that's his name, right?
Yeah, that's
but and I was just like, this is not working. Like, it was too much. Like,
it was killing some of his goodwill.
It really did. Like, it really did. Like, it was the thing where it's like, okay, we've seen what Miz and Cena have done on Talking Smack, so Dolph's like, I'm just gonna shoot now too. But here's the thing. Here's the funny thing about that, is that Dolph Ziggler actually isn't nearly as good as the Miz or John Cena. So
no, he's not.
I think it kind of makes sense in story, you know, that what is about to happen on Sunday is about to happen.
Okay, so let's go on and jump into the show, which started with Bray Wyatt versus Kane, and brother when Randy Orton appeared upside down on the Titantron. And he kind of challenged Bray to continue their little cat and mouse games and like, come find me. And Bray was so interested in continuing his games with Randy that he was like, you know what? I'm going to take this loss. Not the first time I lost.
I took a pinfall to Kane like 2 weeks ago, so shit, I'll take a count out.
So he leaves and heads to the back, and he's looking for Randy, and then he finds his chair in like a storage unit. That's like a shipping container, right?
Yeah.
Like they put stuff in and they ship it. Yeah. So he goes into there, and Randy Orton locks him in And then we have, at first, Bray's like, like anybody who's trapped, he wants to get out. And then he's like, okay, I see what this is. So then the most interesting part is he starts talking to Sister Abigail. He's like, I knew you'd come back, which I guess she's been gone for a while. I think she's been gone ever since Roman whooped his ass in the Hell in a Cell. Because he ain't been right since then. But so he was like, take me home. So I guess Randy Orton's coming back to, like get it on and fight with him. And when he opens the thing to the storage unit, Bray Wyatt has disappeared. And I was like, I'm finally interested in this angle.
Right? They finally did it. They finally did it with Bray Wyatt talking to himself. And it's like, holy shit, Bray Wyatt is like losing his mind. Like, I was like legitimately like, Bray Wyatt is psychologically disturbed right now, and it's kind of making me uncomfortable. But I really want to see what happens next.
It would be so lovely if he could win, though. God.
I know, but we know he's not, though, is the thing. I mean, well, let's see. Are there any other challengers to AJ other than Randy Orton? There really aren't. That's where SmackDown's depth issue comes into play, you know? Like, if Sami Zayn was on SmackDown Live, you could have a really nice world title feud where he loses, obviously. He loses the big one. And then eventually, he'll win at like SummerSlam or something, but he's not on that roster. Instead, he's working.
He could do so much good work.
Oh yeah,
he could do so much good work on SmackDown. Like, they need somebody like him.
They desperately need a younger guy, upper mid card guy who can make the leap to the next level, and they don't have that at all.
Their two most over baby faces on the show are John Cena and Randy Orton.
Yeah,
who've been there forever.
And Dean Ambrose too, who's been in the main event for like 3 years straight.
Yeah.
So there is no babyface mid card, Like, and Kalisto's been hurt, so maybe they would have given him a push. I don't know.
They've done nothing with Apollo Crews. Yeah.
Here's the thing. I've actually been working on a piece why SmackDown is better than Raw. And Apollo Crews is one of the reasons I mentioned SmackDown being better, because they've acknowledged that he's totally dead in the water. And so they just had Baron Corbin geek him out. They're like, we're not doing anything with Apollo. Like, we've pretty much failed currently with him. It was not working at all. No. And so they didn't like go try to trade wins back and forth or whatever. They just totally had Baron just run roughshod over him. And now Baron Corbin looks like a threat. So it's like, So they didn't try to like wishy-washy. They're like, this isn't working. And he hasn't been on the show in like 3 weeks or so, ever since Corbin geeked him out, right? And Swagger came back.
If he has, I can't
remember if he has. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. But I like what they've done I weirdly like what they've done with Apollo Crews, which is like geek him out and then done nothing. But it makes sense, like, people.
It's like the shit or get off the pot theory, and they've decided to get off the pot with him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, we'll get to predictions later on, because this is the go home.
Yeah.
So the next segment, I think, was the tag team of the Hype Bros versus the Vaudevillains.
That happened.
And I really didn't mind this. It was kind of weird that they would just slap it on like the go home show, and there's like been kind of no build up. And then the Ascension came. Did the Ascension do anything other than come out?
No, they just stood there.
Okay. Well, I think they're building. They're trying to rehab their tag team division, which I don't think they have to go that far, because the Hype Bros have a little bit momentum. They just, other than the Usos, they don't have a really strong heel tag team. And for some reason, not going to be the Vaudevillains. It's going to be the Ascension. I guess they figured like the Ascension has been nowhere for so long that now they can afford to build them up, which I like. I'm interested to see like a second tier feud going on anyway. So I really didn't mind it. It was kind of like a little off place that they would just put it on the go home.
Yeah.
With like no build up, but giving them the benefit of the doubt. Hype Bros went over, which Mojo is a bit much, but like it's okay because you need some people that are like that.
Yeah, you need some people who are gonna get that crowd fired up no matter what. Like,
yeah,
he's gonna do, like his whole thing with the dancing and then the like axe handle to Gotch, who was on the ground on the mat or whatever. That was awful. Like, that was not good.
Yeah,
please never do that again. But he's trying to get the crowd into stuff, and his like he ain't hype stuff always seems to work over pretty well, and his hot tag is really good. So yeah, it was weird to like see this match. Like when I saw the VODs in the ring, because they got the jobber entrance, I was like, okay, Alpha are gonna come out. And I was like, they're going to do like an alpha match thing or whatever, just so, since they're not going to be on the card, but they'll still have some placement here. But then it was the Hype Bros, and I was like, all right. Speaking of the tag division, I would like to see them do more with Breezango.
Yeah,
I think that could be your like mid-card heel tag, because both those guys are pretty good workers, and they both work the gimmick pretty well.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So it's been odd that we haven't seen much of them. I guess they've been working main event, maybe.
I'm not sure. I don't know. I was like, was Tyler Breeze injured? Because Fandango's done some things like here and there without him, but I think I heard things talking about that they did have a match on main event or whichever one of them.
I think Tyler did something with Kane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So.
All right.
That tag match. As soon as that tag match was about to start, I was like, "Well, they broke their streak. They broke their streak of 4 straight A pluses." Oh.
Let's get to the women. Nikki Bella was set to take on Alexa Bliss. For some odd reason, they decided to put that Banshee Carmella on commentary. Like, oh my God, just ooh. And while they're fighting outside of the ring, Nikki and Alexa, Carmella stands up, acting all extra, and calls the pot meat kettle. She called her a Kardashian wannabe or something like that.
She called her
Nikki Bella.
You thirsty Kardashian wannabe.
Okay. Which is exactly what Carmella is.
Right, exactly. So. Yeah.
That's pretty perfect. So Nikki Bella wasn't having none of that. She took Alexa Bliss and threw her into Carmella like a boss. And then that prompted Carmella to interfere in the match. Carmella and Alexa started working over Nikki, which brought Becky Lynch out. And then, surprise, surprise, the spirit of Teddy Long lived because this became a tag team match, which it furthered the narrative of both the women's matches heading into this Sunday, because Nikki Bella and Carmella brawled out of the match. And that led to Alexa Bliss hitting her finisher, which I've never seen her hit it better. Like, she got height. Mm-hmm. It looks great. And she pinned the champion, which, like, that's usually not a good omen for the challenger when you pin the champion on the go-home show.
Well, unless you're Charlotte, then it works for you. But
yeah,
I guess I shouldn't complain about that anymore, should I? No.
Well, okay, no, listen. We have been here before. We are not going to rejoice just yet, sir.
Yeah, it's true. It's a fair point.
We'll talk.
It's a fair point.
We'll talk about that later. Yeah. But I liked it. I very much enjoy the aggressiveness from all 4 women. I think even Carmella, I think everybody's doing a great job in their roles, and I I'm looking forward to both matchups, and I understand what Daniel Bryan's saying. They've never had a one-on-one match.
Yeah.
And that's why it's no DQ.
That's why it's not. Yeah, it's not no DQ. Yeah.
Which kind of gives me hope. He's kind of like, is this a spoiler? Is he like Paul Heyman? He said that's not a prediction; it's a spoiler. This match isn't going to have a finish.
Yeah,
like
that did sound like it, didn't it?
He's telling people, "Calm down, don't worry. We're gonna get one, just not yet. We can't outshine the women who started the women's revolution.
Yeah, we can't take away Steph McMahon's very special announcement next week on Monday Night Raw that there's going to be a Hell in the Cell match, right? Like Steph's got to announce that for the world to see how great she is.
And then the women on SmackDown can get their due, even though their story kind of calls for it more.
Yeah. Yeah.
But because Dana had, like, in the matches that really matter, Dana Brooke hasn't been that much of a factor.
No, she really hasn't.
Oh yeah, well we can get on Raw later. Right. We got.
I'll tell you what. I was like legitimately worried when they showed Carmella on commentary. I was like, oh no, she's not a great talker, and especially not in like
accent.
Especially not in the commentary format. But I thought she did all right, and it also helped that the match very quickly went to the outside, and then Carmella standing up and just you thirsty Kardashian wannabe, come at me. I literally started laughing my ass off. I was just like, man, that's ridiculous, but it worked. It worked. I also loved Becky. Becky running with the title was also hilarious. That was pretty good. Also, one last thing about the women. I love Daniel Bryan on Talking Smack addressing the camera, saying, "I challenge Becky Lynch and Alexa Bliss to have a better match than Sasha Banks and Charlotte did last night on Raw." I was like, oh, shit. D-Bry trying to motivate his workers.
Yeah, trying to amp them up, like, don't let them outshine you, ladies.
Right?
Don't let them do it.
Yeah, so that was
it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. Like, I really am. Way more than, like, especially Alexa Bliss and Becky Lynch. I was looking forward to that match for a while, actually, since they both got drafted. I was like, oh yeah, those two on the same show. Yeah. I really don't. I hope neither one of those feuds ends.
Yeah, I don't think they can, because I think they've obviously teased that Nikki and Carmella are going on, and in that point, like, they haven't done. Like, they were kind of doing a little bit with Naomi and Natalya, but, like, they didn't really build on it that much, so maybe that'll be a feud, like, going forward, but there's no one else.
I guess motif.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, that picture was horrible. That was horrifying. She should have kept the no teeth. Like, that would have been a good heel gimmick. That would have been better than her yay taunts. But unless Ava comes back, there's no one else really for Becky to go fight with. So I think it has to. I think she will go over, but I don't know how.
Unless they're like, Carmella goes over Nikki, maybe.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I beat the longest reigning Divas champion. I deserve a title shot.
Yeah.
And then, like, Alexa just goes after Nikki Bella, and they kind of like switch for a while.
Well, here's the question. Okay, so No Mercy on Sunday. The Survivor Series is the only pay-per-view in November, right? That's the dual brand. So they're gonna do like a women's match, right? In that, they're probably gonna put like Becky.
A Survivor Series type team match.
Yeah, they're gonna do like. Are they gonna do like a SmackDown versus Raw gimmick? Don't they usually do that sort of thing? Where like heels and faces have to like be on the same side. Yeah, this is a brand split.
Yeah, I'm saying, the first brand split.
Right. Yeah.
They did cross promote and do match, like which one was the better brand, and then they split off to just a whole pay-per-view of bragging rights, which I hated every one of those pay-per-views. I never liked bragging rights.
Yeah, but that could be a way to get the feuds to extend all the way to TLC in December, though. Like that's possible. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll see. But it just doesn't feel like a finale for either of those feuds, and I'm hoping it's not.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to dig into with both.
Yeah,
of them, so.
There's a lot more work to be mined.
Let's move on to my highlight of the night, which was Miz TV.
Oh, wasn't that everybody's highlight? Like, holy shit! My God.
The Miz came out and he made a little documentary called "The Success of a Failure," chronicling Dolph Ziggler's storied career here in the WWE, and it was like, imagine like if somebody took your worst moments in life and put them on film, and you can kind of see like, wow, this company really they just took a big shit on Dolph Ziggler over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And Miz had a line. He was like, if that was my career, I would have quit years ago. Who has been humiliated more than Dolph Ziggler over the years? Oh my goodness. And then that's not even the best part.
Oh my God.
Some bitch brought back.
Oh my God.
Kitty from the Spirit Squad.
Oh man. Yeah, okay, so here's the thing. Back in like 2005 or 2006 or whatever, right when Rey Mysterio was getting his push to the title, I started following again, like briefly. I was actually a huge Randy Orton mark back in the day. This is a true story. This is only like a 4-month period, but I like distinctly recall the Spirit Squad from that time, and even back then I was like, this is the dumbest fucking thing ever. So when Miz was like when Miz was like, oh, and by the way, I was like, no, don't tell me. And then the music hit, and I like immediately lost my shit. I was like in tears. I was just, oh my God, the Spirit Squad in 2016. How good is SmackDown Live? Woo! Oh man.
Oh, like seriously, legit. The only thing I remember about the Spirit Squad is that Shawn Michaels and Triple H would just fuck with them every week.
Oh God. Yeah, didn't they win like a 2-on-5 match versus the Spirit Squad or something?
I'm pretty sure they did.
I'm just assuming that happened.
That's a safe assumption.
Right? That's a very safe assumption, I feel like. Oh man. Yeah, Miz is oh my God. Miz here's the thing. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the clip to like actually hear their chants. I heard something about the unemployment line, but I was like laughing too hard to like pay actual attention. My mind was so blown. I just was like looking at Twitter, looking at everyone else losing their mind over the Spirit Squad showing up. So I'm gonna have to go back and watch that segment again. Oh man,
whose idea was this?
Right? You know what? I hope it was Miz's so bad. I hope it was Miz's idea. I really do. I'll tell you what. Earlier in the show, Daniel Bryan did the Komen promo, the Susan G. Komen promo, and then like halfway through, I was like, I hope the Miz comes and interrupts this so bad. I know they would never do it with their like PR session, but oh my God, that would have been unbelievably glorious. But yeah, that was bridge too far. But oh man. Missed chance.
Yeah, that maybe like 10 years ago they would have did that.
Right? Maybe. Not anymore, where they realize that they have to have better taste. Oh man.
Oh my God. But Dolph stood like, I know I'm laughing, but Dolph did his speech. I liked it. And it was like, before he went on Talking Smack,
Yeah, right.
I had sympathy, and I was like, oh, I don't really want him to lose, but like, I kind of see, like, thing. Bray Wyatt, like, you could right now put some clips together of his career that won't make him look. And he never speaks out of turn. And I know, like, people like everybody's not CM Punk. Everybody's not Vince's favorite and gets to shoot off anywhere, however they want to. You know, and we, like, you got to play your position sometimes.
Yeah.
And Dolph has this thing where he just runs his mouth recklessly. And that's probably why he gets items of crap dumped on him.
Was that okay? I wasn't watching at that time. The stuff when he was in the white suit, was that with AJ Lee?
Yes, it was.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had like a brief 1 second shot of AJ Lee on a WWE program in 2016.
That's when I was first coming back.
Oh, why didn't you stop watching immediately? Oh, that's the sort of babyface. Oh yeah, true. But that's the sort of babyface shit that I've always hated in WWE, and you've always hated in WWE. So
yeah, and it was so like I love to hate the Shield. Like every time their music came out, and I knew they were finna jump somebody, I was like, why doesn't anybody help these people? Like, so I was so addicted to watching because I was waiting for somebody to get their comeuppance on them, and then it kind of a switch flipped. And where I was like, fuck, I want them to beat up everybody. That works with me sometimes. So, like, in like a few months, I'm going to be talking about how much I love Carmella.
Right? Yeah, seriously. Carmella's the best heel on the roster. Blah, 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 blah. Seriously.
That's how it works with me. Like, hated my favorite wrestler, even when I liked the Shield. I was like, oh, he's just a pretty boy. It's easy to be over when all you got to do is come in and finish the damn match and the other two wrestle. Oh, Lord, you have no idea how much I hated him. Generic pretty boy. That's all he is. He just looks. Nothing but looks.
Nothing but looks. He just hits his same spear every time and gets the pin.
Yeah, it's not fair. He's stealing all the glory from Seth Rollins.
From Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins, who has such a varied moveset and has
the best one in the Shield.
Oh shit! See, Dolph, this is how you shoot, not your shit. Oh
this show
man!
has such in a good mood. Okay,
I know, right?
So that was the segment of the year for me, like, and I know that might be recency bias. I might have to go back and do a segment on any show.
Yeah, it really is. I hope they put the whole video on YouTube because I just want to transcribe like the whole thing. Basically, that was incredible.
Oh God, I cannot say it. So, like, if the show had have ended right there, I wouldn't have been mad. If it was an hour, I'd be like, so
hour long? I don't care about the main event. Whatever, fuck it. I just saw the Spirit Squad come back. Okay,
right?
And then they attacked Dolph. That was so
right.
They were Mrs. Lackeys. Oh my God.
He said sick 'em.
Sick 'em. He absolutely said sick 'em. He said sick 'em. I'm writing that in my notes right now. I gotta put that in.
Oh my God.
Oh man. Woo.
Greatest thing ever. Lord. Okay. Let's move on.
Yeah.
SmackDown had a boo-boo, which was...
Oh, yeah, they called Jimmy J? Or they called Jay Jimmy?
They called Jay Jimmy.
That's right.
And I am offended because anybody who knows me knows that I think Jimmy Uso is the better Uso. He looks better. He wrestles better. He's funnier. He dances better. And he happens to be married to Naomi. Mm-hmm. So, like, and Jay won a UFC tournament on Up, Up, Down, Down. That's all he got over his brother. Oh, And Jimmy was born first.
Oh shit.
He has everything over it. So, like, he's just used to being better. But it was Jay that took on Jason Jordan. And, like, I kind of like in Tierney, he's the one that pointed this out, like with the Usos and Alpha, that Alpha would like get the quick win on him out of nowhere. Yeah. And then the Usos would still whoop their ass. And I do kind of like that dynamic because that's still like you show that Alpha's good enough to win, but the Usos aren't geeked out. And, for a rivalry, which I think that's going to be the rivalry heading into even next year, it's something interesting. We've only seen the tip of the iceberg of where that can go.
Yeah, that's a good point. I love that the tag title feud is Slater Rhino versus Usos, but they're also building another feud with the Usos after the Usos win on Sunday. Sorry, everybody. But I love that they're already laying the groundwork. They're not like separating everybody into their own little feuds and like you can't interact with anyone else. It's like you've got your feud and that's what you deal with. But it's like they're interacting with like, other people in the division and building stories with other teams in the division, like at the same time that they're doing like in the main event feud for the division. So I've really enjoyed that. Yeah, that's been great. Alpha need to stop turning their backs. Like, how many times are they Sting level dumb at this point? Because seriously, you need to not be turning your back on these guys. They're gonna chop block you. It's gonna happen.
If I was Chad Gable, I would have a chair at the ready.
Right? Seriously.
I know you're coming for my knee.
I put like a steel plate. I put a steel plate in the back of my leg or whatever, so when they try to hit it, they just hit steel. Wasn't that Lex Luger's thing? He did his forearm and he had like steel plate in his forearm or something? Yeah,
allegedly he had a motorcycle accident that had a plate in there. But somehow that wasn't an illegal move to use.
Yeah, right. No wonder that dude didn't get over as a babyface. Right? Jesus Christ.
How can you say, okay, they're like, well, it's not his fault that he had that accident. I'm like, yeah, but he's using the fact that he has a steel plate in his forearm as an advantage.
Yeah, that's cheating. that's a heel move.
Yes,
that was a
clearly cheating.
Thing. Oh, man,
he cannot use a forearm because he has a steel plate in his. I wonder why he never got over. Wonder why. And he was over like a mofo in WCW.
In WCW, yeah.
WCW. And with terrible promos, and all of that, over like a mofo. So it was how he was booked.
Yep.
But the thing, listen, I know the Usos, like, and some people have raised this question. Oh, they're acting like thugs.
Oh, yeah.
Understand, I've always been an Usos fan. Like, always. So, like, I've seen them outside of the colorful faces and jumping around and just being happy-go-lucky Samoans. This is them. If you saw them out on the street, this is how they would dress and act and talk. They're not being urban. They're not appropriating Black culture. They're part of this culture as well. They're just being themselves and, cheating because that's what heels do. Like, the Miz cheats and he's not called a thug.
Yep.
So why would you call the Usos a thug? No, they're just being themselves. They're not trying to be. That's just who they are. That's how they dress. They just took them out of this little play. Like, it reminded me of like a cartoon version of Umaga.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which was already outlandish in itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then you make it happy-go-lucky Umagas. And it's two of them. But, yeah. So, you can get that. Y'all can get that out of your minds. That's just who the Usos are. And I think they're so much more comfortable being themselves And it just comes so more naturally than just, hey, Oos, how you doing, Oos? Yeah, we're happy to be here, Oos. Oos, Oos, Oos. So it's fine, people. Trust me, it's fine. Okay, before we get to the main event, what the hell happened with Baron Corbin and
Jack Swagger.
Jack Swagger?
Okay, so the ref thought he tapped out. Like that wasn't a botch. I'm pretty certain that was designed to go down that way. But Corbin was crawling to the ropes, and the ref thought he tapped out because he was like, first of all, he didn't hit his hand on the mat. So how can that be a tap out? It was literally like his upper arm that was like doing this with his like hand clearly not like touching the mat. And I was just like, that's clearly not a tap out. But yeah, so and then Corbin's pissed because he didn't tap out. But Swagger got the win or whatever, you know. So that's the way to build it. I loved how mad Corbin got. He was so pissed. He was so and that really worked for me.
Okay. I like that was nice, but here's my question. How does this make Corbin hated? He was fucked.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know if it was fucked, but like it was like an incompetency on the part of the ref.
So when he goes on his little Corbin bearing spree, which he is wont to do,
like
that referee better watch out.
Oh my God! Right? I hope he murders that referee. That'd be great.
That would be lovely if he would just kill the referee.
Not for shoot, people. Let me be clear here. We're not shooting
completely kayfabe.
Kayfabe murder, yeah.
But the ref deserves it. Do your job better. Like, if
that was really poor.
Out, ask them if you're not sure. Do you give up? They can say yes. They'll not. Like, you know, it's interesting to see where that goes.
Like
it was just like
I see it as like the beginning of a feud, you know, so like they don't want to give any definitive result, which is fine because they didn't give a definitive result. But yeah, it is a bit weird when you think about it for a second. Like you just said, like how is this supposed to make Corbin, like how are we supposed to hate him for this?
Because him being angry, he's already an ornery son of a bitch. He doesn't. Like, reporters come up to him for a backstage interview, and he rolls his eyes. And, like, why I gotta talk to you? He's already irritated. So he gets screwed out of a match, and you think he's just gonna be like, okay, well, I'll get him next time. No, that's not in his character. It's not his demeanor. Expecting a rampage. I would be disappointed.
I'm hoping for a rampage, yeah.
Right? I would be disappointed if he didn't like rain holy hell on the ref and Jack Swagger. It's what you expect. Like, you know, how can you? And he's there to win. Like Baron Corbin, he's another one. He cares about winning. He wants to win every match because every match gets him more money.
Yep.
That's a clear motivation for him. So being fucked out of a paycheck or getting paid less, should really bring that back. Like for both brands, if you win a match,
first.
Yes, if you win a match, you get more money than if you lose a match. It's neither here nor there. Let's talk about the main event segments, which I'm going to tell you, they are. I don't know how I've become this big John Cena fan when I could not have cared less about the guy for the longest time. I was like, oh, John Cena, oh yeah, I guess he's cool. Like, just not my cup of tea. But I was literally like when he he says his thing. Dean interrupts him. Dean comes out, and Dean is spitting fire, straight fire. He is fired up. Never give him a belt again. He will stop caring. Like, seriously? Like, I'm sorry, Dean, but he does his best work when he's pissed off and he has something to prove. And when he's the champion, he's just a little too easy breezy cover girl for me. No. But their exchange, Ambrose and Styles, that was good. And then Cena comes out, and it's all like pick on John Cena day. And I was kind of getting pissed off for John Cena. I'm like, let the man talk. And they're like, I know what you're going to say. I'm like, he's been here for umpteen years. Of course, everyone knows what he's going to say. Let him say it. One of them did that. And he was just like, talk is cheap. It just started fighting. I was like, yeah. See, like, that's my type of... He is winning me over. You know, I do not like the people that just talk. I like him when they just like to fight. And he was like, talk is cheap, let's fight. I was like, hell yeah.
Look at this. But John Cena is the babyface hero you never knew you always wanted.
I was so glad when he was just like talking shit and just started fighting. Like, oh, I cannot wait till he gets number 16 on y'all asses. Bam, motherfucker. And by the way, this is my personal bias. I always thought, even when I didn't care about him, I always would have took his ass over Ric Flair. So fuck that shit.
Yeah, right.
Ric Flair.
Fuck Ric Flair.
Which, this disgusting bastard that's in the news lying about Halle Berry.
Seriously.
Please. But I like the way the segment ended where, like, John thought he stood tall, and then here comes AJ again, and then AJ thought he stood tall, and then here comes Dean. And that was, like, 30 Ds. And it was like, don't. I was like, damn.
Yeah, that was a sick Dirty Deeds on the ramp. That was well done.
Right. Never give him a title again.
Right? Right? I feel like I've been vindicated.
Just always chasing. Chasing. The money's in the chase for Dean Ambrose.
For Dean Ambrose alone, the money is in the chase. All your other baby faces should be winning the matches, but Dean Ambrose should be chasing. Because once he's the champion, he just starts pouring sugar in people's coffee, and it's...
And not caring, and not showing any fire or passion.
Yeah, that segment was perfect. Like, God, those three guys are really good. Ambrose was really good tonight. I really liked Ambrose. I'm gonna put him over in my review. Hopefully that will please some people. But yeah, I thought he was really good. Yeah, let's do predictions. All right.
Okay, so who do you predict for the main event?
Styles.
Yeah, me too.
That's not even like if anybody else wins, I'm gonna give the pay-per-view an F. That's a shoot. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that right now. That's absolutely a shoot.
Say this show sucks.
F. This show sucks. AJ Styles lost. F. Read Rev's live blog. Like that'll be it. That'll be it. I'm serious.
Okay, The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler.
Again, there's no question. After that Talking Smack segment, there's no question. Like, if Ziggler was going to win, that's not the Talking Smack segment he would have had. So, yeah, right. Miz is going over, and Miz is going to be so happy about retiring Dolph Ziggler, about ending his career. He's going to be so happy. I cannot wait for his promo.
Yeah, he's the only promo Tuesday. That I'm waiting for. Yes,
right,
I'm waiting.
Right? Oh, man.
Becky Lynch versus Alexa Bliss.
Who do you got?
I'm going for the last kick of Becky Lynch.
Yeah, It's not the time to take the title off. And like sometimes you see people being like, "Oh, it's so predictable" or whatever. It turns out when wrestling is predictable, it's actually at its best.
Yeah.
You know, when it actually makes sense and you can see where things are going, and it's not just like, "Oh, swerve, big angle, you know, blah blah blah, controversy, surprise, shock." When that just throws everything everywhere and nothing makes sense. Like this, it builds. Like we can see the WrestleMania feuds already for SmackDown Live. And that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. Like, you can, when you plan stuff out that far in advance, you can do stuff. Like, I think Frey tweeted this. You can do, when you plan stuff out a month in advance, you can do stuff like bring back the Spirit Squad. You can't do that if you're rewriting the show the night of, you know?
Right.
So.
Or you do it and it just falls flat.
Yeah, it just doesn't work because there's nothing built up for it. There's no, you know, justification for it. So yeah, Becky's going over. She's gonna make. I don't know how it's gonna happen, but she's gonna go over.
Beauty and the Man Beast versus the new and improved Usos.
Are there questions about any match on this card? Like, I'm just now thinking about this. I'm like, this is pretty much okay. So Usos, we both have Usos here, right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming so. Yeah. So, man. God, how about
okay,
that?
well, Nikki and Carmella, I'm kind of a toss-up of like, is it going to be what Daniel Bryan says and it's not going to have a finish, or like, because Nikki Bella's out there telling like, I told them that they could bring me back as a jobber.
Yep. Yeah. It's true. Yeah, I'll say
Carmella's going over or no finish.
Yeah, that would be what I would say as well. I'm leaning toward no finish right now. But yeah, I think Nikki winning is the least likely result.
Yeah.
I really want the no finish now because I want the no DQ match. And did you see the tweet after WWE announced the match? Literally every response was like, make it no DQ. Literally everyone.
I did too.
It was just like, they've worked them. They've worked all of us into wanting something that we're going to get. Like, holy shit. That's good. That's good, people.
Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt.
Ooh, okay, yeah. Like Orton again. Styles needs a challenger. So it's Randy Orton. And I'll tell you, here's going forward, I was thinking this during their segments tonight. If SmackDown can make something of Bray Wyatt, that will prove that it is the greatest television program in all of history. Not just wrestling history, but all of history. Because Bray Wyatt is so dead as this heel character. If they can do something with that, like, and actually make him relevant and important, then I'll tip my cap. But so far they haven't done it, and they're not giving him the win on Sunday, so we'll see.
Yeah. Well, see, my rating for this show, just because of the mid segment, 10 out of 10. I'm totally biased.
Oh man!
When the Spirit Squad came out, I was done.
Right? That's like.
I'm like.
I feel like. I mean, all right. Here's what I'll say. I'm not gonna give the show an A+ because I don't think it was an A+. But the Spirit Squad coming out deserves an A+. Like, let's be real.
Right, that segment is an A+.
I'm gonna seriously give that like a 4,000 pluses after it, and then the rest of the show like a B.
So, of course, we do this every week, and something kind of important did happen on Raw. So, like, before we wrap the show up, and guess what? We spent most of the show talking about SmackDown.
Oh, I love that you got that in there.
Okay, so talk about, because I missed it because I watch VH1 on Mondays now. The first one is that I'm gonna get some caged beef.
Oh yeah.
Hell in a Cell. And see, this is what I was thinking with Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns last year. The reason why they didn't go balls out in their first matches because they were gonna have a Hell in a Cell and crashing the tables and break stuff. But they were kind of hindered because, of course, you can't outshine Undertaker. So, womp. But I think there's a genuine sense of competition because I believe the women are going to get a Hell in a Cell match.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think the question now is, are they going to main event? I think they're going to main event with them. I really do.
Yeah. they're gonna tell Rusev and Roman Reigns, "Hey, it's easy. Make it hard for them. Make them hard to follow that shit."
Yeah.
I seriously believe that. And as much as I don't want to see Roman hurt, I do want to see like just an all-out war. Like, that's all I care about. I don't care why it started, what's going on, none of that. Beef. Hopefully somebody's gonna bleed up in there. Roman is real easy to bleed, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, you breathe on him and he's
I'm kind of expecting one of Charlotte or Sasha to blade, to be honest. I really am. And Sasha shouldn't do it because it would look real bad on her. It would look real bad on her forehead because she's balding. So.
Right.
Yeah, it's
but
not good.
You want to talk about the main event for Raw?
Yeah, sure. We'll talk about that. A little bit.
Sasha took on Charlotte for the Raw Women's Championship. And before the match, got a little gangster. When Dana Brooke tried to get in her face, she was like, "Oh, no, you didn't." Took her smooth out, stood over her like, "What? Who you think you are?" So that was great. So once again, Bayley has kind of sort of helped Sasha win a title.
Yep.
Hope they keep it up.
I love that little wrinkle. I loved it so much. I honestly, like, I've said this, I tweeted it and I also commented a couple of times. I think the backstage stuff with Bayley and Sasha is a better sign for the division going forward than Sasha actually winning the title back last night. Because the title was going to get back to Sasha, but the fact that they really got what Bayley and Sasha's relationship should be at this point in time, they really got it. And like, people were being like, "Oh, there was like a tease of dissension or whatever." Sasha gave a look. I was like, you're reading into stuff because that wasn't there at all. Like, that was not there. They were like legit buds. And it's funny how, like, the only time Sasha looks good as a face is when she's hanging out with Bayley. How coincidental. But yeah, I loved that backstage stuff. And I loved Dana getting murdered by Bayley. That was great. And then the match, okay, so as soon as Dana got murdered, I was like, well, Dana's gone, so Sasha's winning. And then I like tried to check myself immediately. I was like, I literally called myself a fucking mark in the daily after I said Sasha's winning.
And then you marked out for the BFFs.
Oh yeah, right. The video package. Once I heard BFFs, I was like, I'm all in. Whatever. It doesn't make sense what they've done with this feud. That like the big matches are on Raw. Like, the big matches with, like, these huge hype packages, and it's like, holy shit, like, the big moments.
Somebody had a theory about them. They, like, there's, on pay-per-view, there's really no way to test who's a draw because everything's on the network. So they're really trying to test and see if these women are draws so that they put their big matches on Raw to see how many people are going to tune in to it. Which I can kind of understand.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense, but it's just like radically different than. It's hard to get your head around that, especially because SmackDown still builds to the pay-per-views. Like, they don't give away the big title matches on the weekly television show, or they haven't at least so far. So it's interesting. I thought the match was really good. I thought it had a lot of emotion in it. And I thought, despite the feud, like, when you take out 95% of it and condense, like, 2.5, 3 years into, like, a 3-minute video, it looks really good. But, of course, we have to see the weekly stuff. Like, we have to see the stuff where, like, after Sasha wins the title, then the next week Enzo Amore comes out and says really awful, disgusting things. And it's just like, well, this is where this feud is going, huh? So the next week is the key. Like, if they have something like good next week with the feud, like something to build on, like Charlotte gets pissed and like murders Sasha backstage or something, or something. They got to set up the cell match, and they need to do it in a way that gets that allows Sasha to demand the cell rather than Steph just putting them in or Mick putting them in the Hell in the Cell. They really need to give the women the agency of making that match, and I'm worried that they won't.
Because the other cell match, nobody announced it.
No, exactly, right? Like, give the agency to your characters. They need to do that. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Anything else from Raw you want to mention?
What else was on Raw? I don't remember anything else from. I thought Raw was okay. I thought I was giving like a B- probably.
The thing that annoys me is that the top champion on the show is in like a buddy angle with Chris Jericho and is concerned about championship for some reason. The same man who this time last year, I'm pretty sure, walked out on every single tag team match he ever was booked in, but now all of a sudden he cares about being in the tag team. It's a regression. The regression of Kevin Owens from being his own man to like just not for no reason at all without any explanation. That kind of that's not my jam. Don't like it.
Yeah, they really neutered the character. Like they changed. They totally went away from the psychopath, like sociopath family man who like legitimately thinks he's in the right because what he's doing for his family, and that's like the most righteous goal that you can have in his mind, So like he thinks he's actually in the right. You could easily explain him like, yeah, Trips gave me the belt, but you know why? You know why I did it? Because it's for my family. It would take 3 minutes. Like it would not be hard to explain it at all. And again, Raw just doesn't. They just don't do it.
Yeah.
Because they don't see him as the important person in the feud.
Right. Triple H is the important person in the feud. And he still hasn't shown up since he did what he did.
I tell you what, that man is an utter genius. Like he shows up, pedigrees everybody, give Kevin Owens the title, disappears, introduces the Cruiserweight belt on the finale of the Cruiserweight Classic. That was 2 days after that, or maybe it might have been. It was either 2 days or 9 days. It might have been the week after. But yeah, but then Cruiserweight's on Raw. He never shows up again. Man is a genius. He's like, I'm going to put myself in the best possible positions. And he always does. And I'll tell you what, if you don't have to like him for doing that, but you gotta have some respect for it, to be honest. Like, it's impressive.
It is. It's A-class work.
All hell, yeah.
Yes.
I got
everybody else.
Wait, what were you saying?
Everybody else is left looking like dumbasses.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Get yourself over, Trips. I got one thing to say. So last week, viewers of the show know that I had a little heated monologue about the Raw Women's Division, and I think I went a little bit too far when I said that Charlotte Marks don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I think that was a little bit much, so I want to walk that back a little bit and apologize if I offended anybody who was listening. But I also want to suggest, along those lines, it made me think of a couple of weeks ago, Things and Stuff, the barometer of good and decency of cage side seats, commented in the Daily, and she said something like she was hanging around a bit less because the attitude towards Dean Ambrose, who was her favorite, was a little negative. And I'm pretty certain that was at least partially because of my reviews, which, if you remember about a month ago, everybody, were pretty negative on Dean Ambrose. But this is a long-winded way of saying, don't let any random dork on the internet take away from what you like. If you like, Dean Ambrose, if you like Charlotte, like, do that. Mark out for them. That's what wrestling is. We don't need to be tearing each other apart. And I kind of came to this conclusion last night after I took a little shot on Twitter. So everybody just like what you like and be good with it. I don't know.
Yay. And I subscribe to this because look who my fucking favorite wrestler is.
Right? Yeah, seriously.
So I told things. I totally get it. Sweetie, trust me. I started liking him when everybody started hating him. So I was like, sometimes you just have to say, you know what you like is what you like, and you're not wrong for it. It's entertainment. It's subjective. Everybody sees things in their own way. And let's just try to respect each other's opinions, even though some people's opinions are absolutely, completely wrong.
See, I'm glad you said that and not me.
And with that, we're going to close out this week. We've had a fun week. Looking forward to No Mercy. There will be a special show Sunday after Talking Smack. Yeah. It's going to be Fizzy and I'm going to try to get Andrew to come in and do about 15 minutes about what he thought about the show. But just take care of each other and don't stop loving that thing you love. Bye-bye.